All right, you two need to stop. Stop! Don't talk. All right, here. Kiss. Come on. Kiss. Kiss. Everything will be fine. Yeah, come on. You're a son of a bitch of a bird, huh? Shame on you. Skip it up and that up. So even though I consider myself a fairly hey everyone, if you like the content you see here, make sure you click the subscribe button and also hit the bell to get notifications of all my newest uploads. Thanks a bunch, baby. So even though I consider myself a fairly progressive guy when it comes to my political takes, one thing I've always been against, and I've been very consistent with throughout the years, is I am very anti-cancel culture. I am very anti-SJW. I am very anti-political correctness because I think it's absolutely cancerous, and I think it takes away from the real issues at hand and makes people focus on identity politics, which in virtually all forms is useless. And in my opinion, it's a distraction, so the real issues never get addressed. So corruption can still be corrupt, and corrupt politicians can still do what they want to do. I know that's very fifth grade politics 101, super rudimentary, but it's true. But I'm not a political channel. I'm not going deep into that right now. But this still irks me enough because they're basically using identity politics with one of my favorite games of all time, the original Bioshock. So what the hell is going on? So a high school student in Avon, Indiana, used a quote from Andrew Ryan from the original Bioshock. It's when you're going into the lighthouse and you're taking the elevator down to Rapture that Andrew Ryan says this. I'm going to show you a clip from the game, the exact quote that Andrew Ryan says. Take a look. All right, Rich from the future here. I had to wipe the cobwebs off my brain for this. That quote that Andrew Ryan says is actually from towards the end of the game when you encounter Andrew Ryan. It's not from the beginning when you're going down to the elevator. Probably because I haven't played the game through in its entirety since 2008. So that could be the reason. Anyway, here you go. Take a look.
In the end, what separates a man from a slave? Money? Power? No. A man chooses. A slave obeys.
So anyone with any common sense will know that there's nothing racial to that at all. It's just he's saying that people are slaves to the system. They're a slave to their 9-to-5 job. They're a slave to probably a profession that they can't stand, and they have to go into work every day no matter what because they have to support themselves and their family. So even though they hate this job, they're owned by it. The job owns them. That's what they mean. There's nothing racial to it. That's what Andrew Ryan meant. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put that together. Well, of course, because it's 2021 and everyone's looking to be offended by everything imaginable. They made a statement and they made the student retract the quote. Anyway, this comes from comicbook.com. I'm going to read it to you and then we will discuss. The school board for the Avon Community School Corporation recently released a statement saying that the Bioshock quote within the yearbook was one that had been interpreted as some to have negative racial elements. Although not its original intent, no kidding, the quote was interpreted by some as racially insensitive. A message from the school board read, "We are sorry to students, family members, employees, or community members who were offended by the language in the yearbook. Avon High School and district leaders are investigating the matter thoroughly." But if you think the student just redacting the quote would have been enough, wait for it. It gets insane. This is like Orwellian 1984, wrong think. You guys know I don't usually get this conspiratorial, but this is absolutely insane. Here we go. Perhaps the most surprising part of this entire saga is that Avon School Board has also determined that any student who may have already been given the 2020-21 yearbook must turn it back in to be fixed. From here, the school plans to blur out the quote in question before then redistributing them back to students and faculty. I'm not sure how much money this is costing the high school as a whole, but I have to imagine that those in charge are very frustrated by this whole saga. I hope they're more frustrated because people are losing their minds and are acting absolutely ridiculous of a quote that has absolutely nothing goddamn to do with goddamn racism. Nothing. It has nothing to do with racism. It was Andrew Ryan saying that we all go to a 9 to 5, or I did for most of my life. And you're a slave to that job. Whether you're white, black, Asian, Latino, doesn't matter. Male, female, whatever your sexual preference is. You go to a job, a lot of people go to a job every day and are slaves to it because if they don't, they'll be on the street. That's all it meant. That's all Andrew Ryan meant. And we're literally taking back yearbooks to blur it out and making a big to-do and making statements over things that mean absolutely nothing. It's actually a brilliant quote because it's true. We're slaves to a system. Doesn't matter what your ethnicity or gender is. People think that I make a big to-do about this. And I don't go into the whole anti-SJW crap with every single video like a dear friend of mine, The Quartering, does. And I don't pretend to act like a pseudo-tough guy on my YouTube channel. And then if anyone even questions what I say, I cry about it in videos and through 20 different tweets. Yeah, I'm throwing him under the bus. I don't care because he does do that. But this is insane. How can comedy exist in an environment like this? Comedy is meant to push limits. Especially doing what I do, this is the best analogy. I've used this before, but it's true. Doing entertainment for a living, whether it be YouTube, whether it be you're on the radio, whether it be you're a musician or an actor and it's your main source of income, is the equivalent of walking through a minefield blindfolded. While you're walking through the minefield blindfolded, someone is walking in front of you, purposely throwing mines under your feet. While you're blindfolded, already walking through a minefield with mines in it. It's just a matter of time that before you step on something and it explodes. Because Howard Stern was saying this too, like when he used to work on America's Got Talent, they forced you, like you had to coddle everybody. You couldn't say, remember back in the day, not that I really watched it that much, American Idol. I always thought it was stupid, even when it was in the early 2000s with Simon Cowell, who I don't really like too much. Where his whole thing was ripping people a new one. And hey, the entertainment, as much as it was a show and it was a shtick too with Simon Cowell, it's the entertainment industry is brutal. It's the dose. If these kids, oh, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actress, I want to be a singer. Yeah, you do. It's a brutal industry. You're going to have to get some tough skin real quick. But all of a sudden, something happened that we changed. And, oh, you're doing fine. I felt an energy from you. No, you suck. You need to hear you suck. Because either you suck and you need to find a new line of work, or you need to improve and train more so you can be a singer or you can be an actor. You need the tough love. But here we need to be inclusive, so we don't have a category called blind playthrough anymore. You can't say cuck in your live streams on Twitch, because that's offensive. We're literally going to a place that we all thought was like a dystopian future of wrong think, and there's people just willingly going to it. They're like, no, this is right, because they don't think deep about it. They just say, hey, yeah, we can't. If someone's offended by something, we need to do something about it. We need to scrub the yearbooks, because one person who is an idiot might think that this is racist, even though the original content had nothing about racism in mind from the original Bioshock. It's just like when a couple of years ago, when meteorologist from Rochester, Jeremy Capel, it was, again, anyone with a brain would have saw the two words were blended together, and it sounded like he said a racial slur. He didn't, though. He did not say it. It was sometimes during live streams, people thought that I said things that I didn't say. You know what? It just, You're tired, you're talking, sometimes, or we're human, and sometimes words slur together. Trust me, my editor has to edit my videos all the time, and I slip and stumble and do you know what I mean? That you see the cuts in the edits. So he said something that people, of course, lost their minds, interpreted as a racial slur. Common sense is not common anymore. If you watch the clip, I'll show it to you now. It's obvious that he was not intending to say a racial slur. Here you go.
Martin Luther King Jr. Park.
But of course, the mayor of Rochester, her name does not represent her at all. Lovely A. Warren wanted to see him fired. She said it was offensive. It's because what bothers me about politicians too is that even if they know something is wrong, I'm not going to go into other things. Just think of things that have happened in the current political landscape. They'll play along with them to appease a base. I'm sure she saw the clip and said, yeah, he didn't mean to say that. But you know what? My people want me to be angry at it. I'll be angry at it. I'll say that he was wrong. I'll ruin his career, even though his career shouldn't be ruined. Remember what I said about walking in a minefield with landmines blindfolded while people are putting landmines in front of you? There you go. He said one word, that two words just melded together that may have sounded like a racial slur. You just saw it. And his career is over. And he's blacklisted and ruined. This is what we live in 2021. It's scary. It's disgusting. And if this doesn't set your hair on fire, if you had hair, and alarm the hell out of you where we're going, you're just missing it, man. We're in a world of trouble. And a lot of people don't even realize it. And they're just walking off the cliff, even though everyone's yelling at them like me that there's a cliff there to fall off of. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.